Today in my bonsai calendar we're going to be talking about larch. Everything you need to know, dates, times, everything. So if that interests you, you need to stick around. Hi, it's Xavier and welcome to my bonsai retreat, and today on the bonsai calendar we're going to deal with my favourite tree for bonsai, especially for beginners. The Japanese larch. This tree is well known all around, probably the northern climates, and I think you've got 10 or so different varieties, but the most well known is your European larch, your Japanese larch, which this is an example of. You've got your American larch, which I think it's called a tamarack, thanks to Frostbite Bonsai, Marysol. You were the one who has all the knowledge on that. And if you haven't met Marysol, interesting videos, lots of stuff in it. Heard links in the description. But what makes larch such a fantastic species for bonsai? Fast growing, multiple flushes through a season. I can prune this 3-4 times in a year, loads of ramification. It is so forgiving. The wood on the trunk ages quickly, so you get this lovely craggy bark. Mind, these are 22 years old, grown from 1-year-old saplings back in 2002. And most importantly, they're cost effective. As I say, get them as saplings. If you treat them right and you keep pushing fertilizer into them, they will give you the most incredible results. They're also very versatile. I've got everything from root on rock to cascade-ish, formal uprights. I like my group plantings, and we all know that probably one of the best group plantings is Nigel Saunders from the Bonsai Zone. Like you didn't know that. And I've been following that one for years. So when should I be repotting these? Well, thankfully it is straightforward. I repot these just as the buds are starting to green up, either just before or just after bud burst. And for me, I found that to be a fantastic time. But interestingly, one of the people that I follow most in the UK, Harry Harrington, has had some great success, he says, with doing the repots actually in January, which is probably the midwinter. Clearly, we don't want the ground to be frozen or anything like that, but roots are apparently very, very frost tolerant, which I wasn't aware of. Now, the other good thing about January is it's dormant. So yeah, I'm going to be trying that next year and just finding a few of the larches and do those sort of repots. Don't you just love this? I did one of my earliest videos was a catwalk display. I think I called this Lucinda Larch, the old lady. She had some wonderful branch structure, and then Tamara, my second eldest, she discovered that she could hook really well. It's a cricket ball for those who don't play cricket. I'm not even going to explain it. And she knocked off the main trunk and whatever was growing this way. But yeah, beautiful, beautiful tree. Again, 23 years old. Nearly as old as me. Like a lot of our deciduous, it loves a free draining soil, and in the summer can be very, very thirsty. And it's probably one of the things you want to watch out for, especially when you've got all those lovely needles out. If it's in the harsh sun, well, I tend to avoid that. Make sure it's well watered, because it will suck water up. So in fact, I tend to put them in a sort of semi-shade, or an area where it gets the morning sun or the late afternoon sun. But that cooking sun at 1 or 2 in the afternoon, I don't think there's many trees that like that. Oh no, wrong. The olives like it.
Olive.
Olive you too.
Pruning, this is what makes them such fun and what keeps you busy. I prune you can do it right through from autumn through to late winter, and there's no right or wrong, but I tend to prune in the late winter, so we're looking in the February time, normally when I can establish when I think the buds I know are alive, so they've just started to show signs of life. It responds pretty well to pruning. You can do some quite heavy pruning at that time of the year. And the best bit is, and I've done loads of videos on larch and how to optimize ramification through pruning. There's normally 3 good periods. End of May, when this first flush is extended right out. Then I'll look again. Again, you could have another set of flushes coming out with 3-4 weeks later, but normally I'm looking the early to mid part of July. There'll be a second attempt to get some new ramification, and then if you've got a really healthy tree, you'll definitely get a little pop at it again mid to late August, just before we hit the autumn, and then hopefully you get your really fine close internodal shoots that you're really aiming for. But that's why this can do so much development in such a short time. key is to make sure it's healthy and in good soil and getting fertilised.
Feed me.
Wiring, I will generally do my wiring in the early spring, just as the buds are greening up, and certainly not before they're expanding, but enough to know which ones are alive. I have tried the autumnal wiring, and what I found is I spent a lot of time wiring branches that I subsequently find out have died, especially the thinner stuff. The only thing with spring is you do need to be careful to not knock those buds off. But yeah, certainly in the 20 years I've been playing with larch, responded well to wiring in the spring, and I haven't found that wire scar is a big issue with these. Ideally with these, I'm a bit of a clip and grow merchant. I find they produce so many different buds and everything everywhere that I just like to clip right back and pick my shoots from directional pruning. Propagation, hey, let's not pretend that we're good at everything. In fact, I'm not good at lots of things, but yeah, propagation wise, bit of a no-go for me. Every year when I do my pruning, I'll take semi-hardwood cuttings in the sort of the second prune normally in the early summer where they're a bit harder, and I'll plant those up. I've done them in the spring, and I've also done some hardwood cuttings in the winter. And truthfully, my success rate is the grand total of maybe 1%. I've actually got 2 successful cuttings from larch in all my time doing it.
This is boring. Why am I watching this?
Anyone have better success? Let me know in the comments, because I haven't found anyone who really seems to be able to find a surefire way of getting successful cuttings to root. Air layering, this one I've never tried air layering them, but I hear they're fine with air layers. So again, if anyone's got positive results on that, down in the comments please. As for pests, probably the biggest pest is cricket balls or footballs or children, because apart from that they do get some aphids, and I think I've showed it on one of my larch videos, the cloud larch. So I'd use an aphid spray, which is basically soap, oil and water. Scale, they'll get the scale insects on the bark. I haven't found that to be a particular issue in my neck of the woods in sunny Grantham. I think I've already mentioned that position wise I keep them where they get a lot of sun, but they certainly don't get the harsh summer sun. These do yellow off, and again, with a good free draining soil, you need to make sure you keep them well hydrated. As for feeding my bonsai, you know I'm a bit haphazard. I promise next year that's something I'm going to try and get better at and more on top of. I'll use a BioGold or whatever general fertiliser I've got for bonsai. I'll feed them all quite heavily in the spring. The only thing is with a ramified structured tree, what you don't want is shoots flying out and getting these great big, they can become quite coarse growth larch. So sometimes be a bit lighter on the fertiliser, but you know, you've got to know where your tree is and at what stage. And if you're at the stage where you're a ramified tree, well, you don't need to be watching this anyway. You can probably tell me in the comments what I should be feeding. Love this. I do love doing all the larch just sitting like dawn redwood with that sort of prehistoric era and dinosaurs and old rock. I could probably put better use to that rock, to be fair. That would make a good root on rock. And I suppose ultimately the last thing we want to know about is winter hardiness. As you know, we're in zone 9B here, and the coldest we probably get down to on any sort of base, -2, -3. In fact, we've got a big snap coming on apparently, a polar snow low vortex, whatever that may be. So far all their warnings have not come true, but the Japanese larch is extremely winter hardy, doesn't need cold protection at all, probably down to -15, -20 C. So unless it's a marmay, and I've got a few of them in little marmay pots, they stay out and weather it like the rest of the trees. So that's my summary of the larch, in particular for me the Japanese larch, but they all act the same way. They really are the best tree, I believe, for a beginner and for someone who wants to practice all areas of their bonsai skills. Everything from wiring to air layering to putting on rock to other things. No, fantastic tree. And if you're a beginner and want to get results really, really quick, Japanese larch, don't leave home without one.
And I'm not leaving without one.
So from Xavier, hopefully you've enjoyed this edition of the Bonsai Calendar, and if there's any important information you think I did miss out, then drop it in the comments, because I'm encouraging people with these series, read and look at the comments, add to that mine of knowledge that's already there, because most of the knowledge you're getting from me is probably not that mine of knowledge you're looking for. Anyway, wish you all the best, happy bonsaiing, God bless, cheers.